Hey everyone, let's jump right into this explainer. If you're like most people, you probably think that building true wealth requires a massive salary, maybe a degree in advanced mathematics, or some kind of inside track on Wall Street. But what if I told you that financial success is actually just a matter of simple, consistent behaviors? Today, we're going to completely reframe how you think about money. We'll be using some incredibly revealing data and expert insights to entirely demystify the journey to true financial independence.
So let's kick things off with a pretty massive question. What is the number one thing that keeps people broke? It's a question that validates a lot of the financial anxiety we all feel, right? I mean, we live in an era of crazy inflation and economic shifts, so you'd probably assume the answer is taxes, or the insane cost of housing, or just a low salary. But the actual answer is heavily rooted in human psychology. And the best part? It's something you have complete control over.
Financial expert Morgan Housel hits the nail right on the head here. He points out that the real enemy of building wealth is our desire for status. We are constantly stuck on this treadmill, right? Just trying to keep up with that Instagram wealthy lifestyle. We spend our hard-earned money to buy things we don't even need, literally just to impress strangers who, frankly, are way too busy worrying about themselves to even notice us.
And hey, if you think the genuinely wealthy people are out there flaunting it, check out this staggering statistic from the Rich Habits Research. 92%, that is how many self-made millionaires do not actually own a luxury car. Think about that for a second. The vast majority of people who have built real, significant wealth actively choose not to play that flashy, status-driven game.
Which brings us to an absolutely crucial concept. True wealth is what you don't see. The Archivist Journal beautifully contrasts the historical Vanderbilt family, who were once the richest in the world but squandered it all on these lavish, super visible extravagances, with Warren Buffett. Buffett is quite literally one of the richest men alive, yet he still lives in the same modest Omaha home he bought decades ago. Why? Because a house becomes meaningful through practicality and emotional value, not just a massive price tag. Long-term wealth always favors modest, thoughtful decisions.
All right, so how do we start making those thoughtful decisions ourselves? Let's get into setting meaningful financial goals.
You've probably heard of SMART goals, right? Well, they work brilliantly in the real world. It's just not enough to say, I want to save money. You have to define exactly what you are saving for. Take this for example, saving $3,000 for a car by automating a $250 monthly transfer. Defining exact numbers and concrete timelines completely transforms your financial behavior from a vague wish into a totally executable plan.
And the data totally backs this up. A massive study out of the University of Stirling found that goal setters are significantly more likely to save successfully. They also found that getting professional advice and just boosting your confidence in basic math leads to much higher long-term investments. In fact, households that defined 4 or more specific savings goals held more than twice as many stocks. Combine those specific goals with a bit of financial literacy, and boom, you got the proven foundation for becoming a highly successful saver.
Now, let's shift gears and look at the actual psychology behind all this, because saving really buys your independence. Morgan Housel uses this fantastic metaphor called the 2 buckets, and I want you to apply this to your own life starting today. Every time you spend $1, just ask yourself, which bucket does this fall into? Am I spending this to genuinely make myself and my family happy, or am I spending it to impress a stranger? When you stop pouring your hard-earned cash into that second bucket, saving instantly stops feeling like a sacrifice.
Honestly, we need to completely redefine what saving is. It is not painful delayed gratification. Saving is the act of purchasing a piece of your future independence. When you put $100 away, you aren't depriving yourself of a nice dinner today. You are immediately buying $100 worth of peace of mind, flexibility, and control over your own future. You are literally buying freedom.
Because listen, once you've successfully saved that money, you've got to put it to work. Welcome to the magic of compounding.
Just look at this data from K-Trade. It perfectly shows why a basic savings account just isn't enough over the long haul. While savings accounts are great for short-term emergencies, their low returns offer almost no protection against inflation. Your money's purchasing power is just slowly shrinking. Investment accounts, on the other hand, yeah, they carry more risk, but they offer the high returns you absolutely need to beat inflation and build wealth. Investing is not a luxury for the rich, it's a necessity for all of us.
And the absolute best time to start? It's right now. According to the Military Thrift Savings Plan guidelines, time is your greatest asset. You do not need to start with thousands of dollars. Automating even a tiny $50 investment from every paycheck makes a massive, life-changing difference over time, because it gets you into the market early.
So why is time so critical? It's all about the snowball effect of compounding interest. Compounding is the true secret engine of wealth creation. It basically means you aren't just earning interest on your original money, you are earning interest on your interest. Year after year, that snowball rolls down the hill, getting larger and faster, and completely transforms modest savings into massive wealth.
If you want undeniable proof of how powerful compounding is, get this. 99%, literally 99%, of Warren Buffett's massive net worth was accumulated after his 60th birthday. No way, right? Yes, he was a brilliant investor early on, but the sheer mind-boggling size of his current fortune is purely due to the extreme patience of letting compound interest work its magic over decades.
And hey, you don't even need to be a Wall Street genius to make this work for you. Consider the incredible story of Ronald Read. This guy spent his entire life working humble jobs as a gas station attendant and a janitor. Yet, when he passed away, he left millions of dollars to charity. How? He just saved a little bit of money consistently, put it in the stock market, and left it alone for 70 years. Consistent behavior and extreme patience will beat a high salary any day of the week.
Okay, let's pivot for a second and play some defense. We need to talk about why relying on just one income is incredibly risky.
Financial expert JP Atui calls this income concentration risk. Basically, it means depending on one source of income so completely that if a layoff or an emergency happens, it becomes a total catastrophe. Morgan Housel reminds us that you have a 100% chance of a financial emergency happening in your life. A medical bill, a broken down car. Actually, scratch that. It could be anything, really. The point is, a single salary is a single point of failure.
To fix this, I want you to think of your income like a table. If your table only has one leg, your primary salary, it is highly unstable. But if you add reliable income streams, you build a rock-solid foundation. You can leverage skills you already have for side income, maybe build scalable digital products, or rely on the investment income we just talked about. When you have 4 legs on your table, you never have to lose sleep over a sudden layoff again.
Let's bring this explainer home by clarifying the ultimate goal of all of this. Wealth is true independence.
Here is the absolute game changer. There is a massive, fundamental difference between being rich and being wealthy. Being rich is loud, right? It's super visible. It's having the cash flow to buy luxury cars and designer clothes just to show off your status. But being wealthy, that is unseen. Wealth is the unspent money, the quiet investments, the financial cushion that lets you wake up every single morning and say, I can do whatever I want today.
I want to wrap up with a pretty provocative question from Morgan Housel. Would you rather have a good life and less money, or more money and a worse life? It really forces us to completely rethink our actual financial priorities. Are you maximizing your life to make a spreadsheet look good, or are you maximizing it to sleep well at night and spend time with the people you love? True wealth is just the tool that buys you the freedom to choose. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope it leaves you rethinking exactly what you are maximizing for.